Hey guys, I'm Hannah Cox with Base Politics, and you're watching my show, Copaganda. This week, we're going to revisit an old video, but I think one that it's important more Americans see. We're going to watch the video of a man named Daniel Shaver who was murdered by police a few years ago. And this case did make some headway in my circles, but it didn't quite get the national attention of cases like George Floyd or many others. And I think that people need to know this kind of thing happens in our country.
Stop! Stop! Get on the ground, both of you! Lay down on the ground! Lay down on the ground! Who else is in the room?
Nobody.
Nobody else is in the room?
Nobody.
Nobody positive?
Nobody. Absolutely positive.
Okay. Since apparently we have a failure for you to comprehend simple instructions, I'm going to go over some of them again. Okay? Can you both hear and understand me?
Yes.
All right. If you make a mistake, another mistake, there's a very severe possibility you're both going to get shot. Do you
If you make a mistake, we're going to
Yes.
shoot you.
Yes.
All right.
This is literally Simon
Shut up.
Says with the state.
I'm not
Pointing
here to
gun
be
in your
tactful or
face.
diplomatic with you. You listen, you obey. For one thing, did I tell you to move, young man? Did I tell you to
No, sir. No,
put
sir.
both
No,
your
sir.
hands,
No, sir. No, sir.
put both your hands on the top of your head and interlace your fingers. Take your feet and cross your left foot over your right foot.
Do the hokey pokey.
Who else is in the room?
He's already
Nobody.
said that. This is infuriating. My palms are sweating.
All right, stand by. We have contact. All right.
Just go
Are you
cuff
both
him.
drunk?
No.
That should be the end of this.
No.
All right. So you're not going to have any problems understanding anything that I tell you, right?
Great.
All
This
right.
guy's just on a power trip.
Can I go to my room?
No, you're not going to do anything but come towards us. Young man, you are not to move. You're to put your eyes down and look down at the carpet. You're to keep your fingers interlaced behind your head. You're to keep your feet crossed. If you move, we're going to consider that a threat, and we are going to deal with it, and you may not survive it. Do you understand me?
This
Yes,
guy's
sir.
a thug.
Young lady, shut up and listen.
They've done nothing but comply this whole
Right.
time.
You are to keep your feet crossed. Take both of your hands, put them flat in front of you. You are to push yourself up to a kneeling position. Kneeling
Push yourself up to a
position.
kneeling position with your hands.
Now, put both your hands in the air.
It's like a core power exercise.
Okay, crawl towards us.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Stop. Okay.
I know what happens, but I'm still just like my heart's beating so fast.
No, Rich, pull
Pull,
him this
Rich,
way.
Pull. Let me know when you're clear. Clear? No, you're not clear. You haven't frisked her yet.
You're not. You'll be in the chain so we figure out exactly what's going on, okay? Just be cool and we'll be done.
Okay, when you're done with that, lay her flat. Okay, I need one more cuff her up. Okay. This is the deal. We're going to do almost like we did before. Okay? Have a seat. Okay, young man, listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
You are to put both of your hands palms down, straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said keep your legs crossed!
These are impossible instructions to follow.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Just push my.
I didn't say this in conversation. Put your hand! Hands up in the air! You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand?
Please do not shoot me.
Then listen to my instructions.
I'm trying to just do what you.
Don't talk! Listen! Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me!
Don't put me down for anything. Now crawl towards me.
Don't.
So the YouTube video cuts out there because what happens next is this man is murdered in cold blood. We are not going to air that portion of the video. It is deeply disturbing to watch. If you want to find it, it is on the internet. You can see it. Basically, he continues to make him crawl towards him, and it appears that Daniel Shaver's shorts begin to fall off, and he tries to pull them up, and that's when he's gunned down and murdered. This is one of the most heinous videos I've ever watched during my time in criminal justice. It is just stomach turning to see this happen. These people are clearly not a threat. They're clearly trying to comply. This cop is on a insane tirade. He's on a power trip. He's giving conflicting instructions. He's giving impossible physical demands. He's giving conflicting instructions for this guy to follow. The whole thing is terrifying, and just so I can't imagine being this poor man's family and watching this. But what happens next after this man is murdered is even worse. So here's the background on the case. In January 2016, Mesa police officers went to the hotel after getting a call that someone there was pointing a gun out a window. They ordered Shaver, who was 26 and from Texas, to exit his hotel room, lie face down in a hallway, and refrain from making sudden movements or he risked being shot. Then Officer Philip Balesford shot Shaver as the man lay on the ground outside his hotel room and was ordered to crawl towards officers. Balesford was charged with murder in Shaver's death, which is unusual, but he was actually acquitted by a jury of the charge. Although no gun was ever found on Shaver's body, 2 pellet rifles related to his pest control job were later found in his room. The detective investigating the shooting had agreed Shaver's movement was similar to reaching for a pistol, but has said it also looked as though Shaver was pulling up his loose-fitting basketball shorts that had fallen down as he was ordered to crawl towards officers like a dog. Mesa initially fired Balesford, but he was actually later rehired to apply for a pension and then took medical retirement. The U.S. Justice Department has opened a civil rights violation investigation against Balesford. In March 2018, the Mesa Police Department revealed the DOJ had subpoenaed the department for all documents about the shooting, but nothing's come of that as of yet. So I just want to reiterate here that after this officer was somehow acquitted of these charges, which to me just says the prosecution threw the case. Prosecutors are often very, very cozy with police, as are judges. It makes no sense to me that he could have been acquitted here, but we weren't in the courtroom. But he now gets a tax-free pension worth $31,000 a year for life. So I know many of you are probably hoping that he was fired, that he got some sort of justice in the situation. Absolutely not. It is so rare for police to even be charged in shootings. I have some other data here that shows 98.1% of killings by police from 2013 to 2022 did not result in officers being charged with a crime. And to be fair, not every police killing is criminal. Sometimes they are justified in defending themselves or defending others from violent people. But 33% of people killed by police were actually running or driving away or otherwise trying to flee. Or you have instances like this where they were very much complying and doing the best they could to not be murdered. Now, the only little bit of justice, I guess you could say, the family got in this case is they did get a civil settlement, but from the city. The widow of the unarmed Texas man, Daniel Shaver, that was fatally shot by police outside a suburban Phoenix hotel room in 2016 has agreed to settle her wrongful death lawsuit, according to this report. A notice of settlement filed Tuesday in federal court in Arizona showed that Lainey Sweet, the wife of Daniel Shaver, and her 2 children will receive $8 million from the city of Mesa. So not even the police department, certainly not from this officer. A probate court has approved the settlement's terms and appointed a temporary conservator. In exchange, all of Sweet's legal claims against the department and against this officer will be dismissed with prejudice, as if it never happened. In a statement released by her attorney, Sweet acknowledged the settlement will help her financially, but said no amount of money can undo the transgressions that cruelly removed Daniel from his family's lives forever. There's a number of reasons why this happens, but probably the most important that you should know about is the presence of something called qualified immunity. And that is a made-up Supreme Court doctrine that basically says government employees, not just cops, government employees, are not going to be held liable when they violate your rights unless you can find some obscure case where some government official in history did the exact same thing and was found guilty. So it's sort of a catch-22. They can't be found guilty and liable under qualified immunity unless you can find a time where they've been found guilty and liable. So as a whole, you very, very rarely see a government official actually have to pay up when they do this kind of thing. And that's one reason they don't have an incentive to stop. I think this case is important just to show how important it is to get justice in this system when you are up against a armed member of law enforcement. Everything is stacked against you, no matter how innocent you are. And I often hear in these conversations that we talk too much about police killing Black people. I want to be clear, police do kill Black people at far higher rates than they do other members of the population, but they kill a lot of white people too. And the fact that you don't hear about these cases is the fault of white people not doing a good job of advocating on their own behalf and also pushing back against police violence. We need to do better in our community to also hold our officials, especially people in law enforcement, accountable and ensure that they are not violating people's civil liberties and certainly not executing people in the streets. I also think that's why it's so important that you follow independent media like Base Politics, because to be frank, the mainstream media often has an agenda that they're trying to drive, and frequently it's a wedge between us and society. So you see some crimes like this get elevated over others. At Base Politics, we care about government crimes against all races, and I think it's really important that we are consistent in that. So if you like this video, be sure to share it for awareness, leave a comment, and until next week, stay based.